Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We now go to session 2. The topic, the human being and the moral foundations of civilization. Before the Quran speaks about nations or empires or the rise and fall of civilizations, it first speaks about the human being. Because every civilization begins with a certain understanding of who are we, why do we exist, and what kind of human beings we choose to become. The Quran teaches that civilization is not built only with buildings, armies, economies, or technology. Civilization begins with the human soul. And when the inner world of human beings becomes corrupted, the outer world eventually follows. One of the most important concepts in the Quran is that humanity was entrusted with the responsibility upon the earth. As it says in the Quran, "And when your Lord said to the angels, 'Indeed, I will place upon earth a Khalifa.'" The word Khalifa carries the meaning of stewardship, responsibility, and trust. Human beings were not created merely to consume the world, nor to dominate one another without limits. Humanity was entrusted with balance between power and mercy, between knowledge and wisdom, freedom and responsibility, material life and moral life. And when this balance disappears, civilization begins to lose its stability. Also, the Quran presents the human being in a deeply realistic way, neither entirely evil nor automatically righteous. Human beings possess extraordinary potential, but they also carry deep vulnerabilities. The Quran says, "Indeed, we created the human being in the best form. Then we reduced him to the lowest of the low, except those who believe and do righteous deeds." This is one of the central tensions of human existence. The same human being is capable of compassion, justice, creativity, and mercy, but is also capable of arrogance, greed, oppression, and destruction. Civilizations, therefore, become reflections of the human qualities they cultivate. Another major point is that the first revealed words of the Quran began with a command, "Read." As the Quran says, "Read in the name of your Lord who created the human being from a clinging substance. Read, and your Lord is the most gracious, generous, the one who taught by the pen, taught the human being what he did not know." Knowledge is one of the foundations of civilization. Through knowledge, societies develop science, medicine, philosophy, engineering, communication, and culture. But the Quran also warns of a danger. Knowledge alone does not guarantee wisdom. A civilization may become intellectually advanced while morality is lost. And perhaps this is one of the greatest struggles of the modern age. Humanity now possesses immense technological power, yet many people still feel spiritually empty, emotionally exhausted, and morally uncertain. The Quran repeatedly reminds humanity that material success alone cannot satisfy the human soul. Modern civilization often teach people to constantly seek more wealth, more consumption, and more entertainment. But endless accumulation does not necessarily produce peace. As the Quran says, competition for increase distracts you until you visit the graves. The Quran warns that societies can become consumed by endless pursuit, and eventually people may gain the world while losing themselves. Another concept, the Quran repeatedly connects the survival of civilization with justice. Not only personal morality, but justice within society itself. As in the Quran, it says, "Indeed, Allah commands justice, excellence, and giving to relatives, and forbids immorality, wrongdoing, and oppression." This verse summarizes an entire philosophy of civilization. A society cannot remain stable if oppression spreads, corruption becomes normal, wealth concentrates without responsibility, and the truth disappears from public life. Civilizations may survive external enemies for long periods, but injustice within the society eventually weakens their foundations. Again, one of the deepest principles in the Quran is that external corruption begins internally. Before systems become corrupt, human beings become corrupt. And before societies become unjust, conscience becomes weakened. The Quran reminds us of humanity, reminds all humanity, saying, "Indeed, Allah does not change the condition of people until they change what is within themselves." This verse shifts responsibility back to the human being. Civilization reform is not only political, it is moral, it is psychological, it is spiritual. The Quran also presents human diversity as part of the divine structure of civilization. As it says in the Quran, O humanity, indeed we created you from a male and female and made you peoples and the tribes so that you may know one another. Difference was not created so humanity would hate one another, but so humanity would learn from one another. The Quran therefore rejects civilization's arrogance based upon race, ethnicity, tribe, or worldly superiority. True honor in the Quranic worldview comes through righteousness and moral character, balance between the material and the spiritual. The Quran does not reject worldly life. It does not call humanity to abandon civilization. Rather, it calls for balance. As it says in the Quran, seek through what Allah has given you, the home of the hereafter, but do not forget your share of this world, and do good as Allah has done good to you, and do not seek corruption upon the earth. The balance is essential. A healthy civilization requires material development, ethical restraint, spiritual awareness, and social responsibility together. When one dimension expands while the other collapses, imbalance begins. Also, the Quran teaches that civilizations are not built only through technology, military power, or economic strength. They are built through justice, responsibility, truthfulness, compassion, and moral balance. And perhaps this is why the Quran constantly returns to the human being, because every civilization eventually becomes a reflection of the souls that built it. If humans begin to lose their moral center, even the most strongest will collapse. Thank you, and see you in the next session.